From Neural Newscast, this is Nerfed, where games, culture, and strategy intersect.
Nerfed, the Switch 2 sellout and Silksong's date. I am Vanessa Calderon.
And I'm Marcus Shaw. We have a massive show today, so let's get right into the chaos.
Nintendo fans, I really hope you have fast fingers and absolutely zero regard for your savings account right now. According to the reports coming out of Nintendo Life, Switch 2 pre-orders went live on April 3rd and were gone in exactly 30 minutes. It was a complete bloodbath. That $450 price tag didn't stop a single person from smashing the buy button. I was watching the social feeds as it happened, and it was just a sea of cart errors and frustration. We were all speculating whether the price point would cause a bit of a hesitation for the casual audience, but clearly the pent-up demand for a hardware refresh after nearly a decade is just overwhelming. This is a system that people have been begging for since the first rumors of a Pro model surfaced years ago. And now that it's finally tangible, the market is reacting like it's the last piece of tech on Earth. It really sets the stage for what is likely going to be the biggest hardware launch in the company's history.
Not a thing, Vanessa. Retailers like Amazon and Best Buy were absolutely hammered, and it felt like their servers were running on a prayer for most of that half-hour window. It is the original Switch launch all over again, and naturally, the scalpers are already out in full force, asking for $900 on eBay. It's honestly depressing to see listings go up before the average fan can even get a confirmation email. But if you missed the initial drop, don't lose hope just yet. Yesterday's Nintendo Presents showcase at least gave us something concrete to look forward to. A proper deep dive into the launch games. We saw incredible footage of the new Mario title, which seems to be pushing that custom NVIDIA chip to its limits. And the rumors about backwards compatibility with performance boosts for original Switch titles seem more likely than ever. They really focused on the launch velocity here, trying to prove that this isn't just a marginal upgrade, but a true generational leap that justifies the higher entry fee.
Because nothing says worth the wait like seeing what will actually be playing in May. It's a huge relief to see a lineup that isn't just ports. But Marcus, I think the internet actually broke for a completely different reason this week. It's the sign of the apocalypse. Silksong is actually coming out. I'm not kidding. This isn't a drill. This isn't a leaked placeholder date from a retailer in Estonia. This is the real deal. After years of being the ultimate "where is it" meme at every single gaming presentation, Team Cherry finally broke the silence. The community has gone through all the stages of grief and back again, and seeing a legitimate date on the calendar feels almost surreal. We've spent so much time dissecting every single frame of the original trailer from 2019 that I think some people had convinced themselves the game was just a collective fever dream. But the silence has been replaced by pure hype.
I had to check my calendar twice to make sure I wasn't being pranked. IGN confirmed that Team Cherry is finally dropping Hollow Knight Silksong on June 3rd, 2026. After nearly a decade of development and total radio silence, Hornet is finally taking center stage. The scale of the game looks massive compared to the original, which was already huge. They are launching on everything simultaneously: PC, Switch, PS5, and Xbox. And yes, it is still coming to Game Pass on day one. You can really see where the extra time went. The animations are fluid, the new movement mechanics with Hornet's silk-based abilities look way more vertical than the Knight's toolkit, and the sheer variety of biomes they showed off is staggering. It's rare to see a small indie team stay this disciplined under that kind of global pressure, but it looks like they used every second of that development time to polish this into a masterpiece.
I'll believe it when I'm actually dying to a boss for the 50th time and throwing my controller across the room. It's been a long road from a simple DLC pitch to a full-blown sequel, but it's finally happening. And speaking of things we definitely didn't see coming, From Software just dropped a bombshell by announcing Elden Ring Night Rain, a multiplayer roguelike? That is a bold move from a studio that usually sticks to very specific, curated single-player experiences with some late co-op.
I think people were expecting more traditional DLC or maybe a hint at their next big RPG project, but Night Rain seems to be an experimental pivot. It's like they saw the success of games like Risk of Rain or maybe even the recent roguelike modes in other AAA titles and decided to put their own punishing gothic spin on it. It's definitely going to divide the fan base, but From Software has earned enough trust that most people are just curious to see how the combat translates to a repeatable, randomized loop.
That's insane when you think about the technical hurdles. It's a massive shift in philosophy. Instead of the sweeping open world of the lands between, we're looking at discrete, focused missions with deep meta progression. You pick a tarnish with unique starting abilities and just grind through a constantly shifting map. It's From Software doing something they've never really touched before in terms of procedural generation. Each run apparently offers different weapon drops and Ash of War modifiers that reset when you die, but you keep certain currency to upgrade your hub world. It feels like they're trying to capture that one more run addictive quality while keeping the high-stakes, high-difficulty combat that made the original game a phenomenon. They also mentioned that the co-op is seamless this time, which has been a major pain point for fans in the past. If they can get the netcode right, this could be a huge live service hit for them without the usual corporate baggage. Yeah, and it is the second round of major layoffs we've seen in 2026 already. Analysts are pointing at franchise bloat and the rising costs of development, but that's cold comfort for the people actually making the games. And the development grind is clearly hitting the giants too. Rumors are swirling that Grand Theft Auto 6 has slipped to spring 2027. We were all hoping that the 2025 window Rockstar gave us was solid, but internally, it seems like the scope of the project is just too massive to hit that mark without some serious issues. When you're making a game that is essentially expected to be a cultural reset for the entire medium, the pressure to launch in a perfect state is immense. Any bug or performance hiccup would be scrutinized by millions, so Rockstar is likely playing it safe. But that delay ripples through the entire industry because every other publisher tries to move their games out of the way of a GTA launch.
Oh, shocking. Rockstar taking more time to polish the most anticipated game ever? Who could have possibly guessed that? I'm sure the intensive crunch mentioned in the reports is going great for everyone involved. It's the same old story. We went from a broad 2025 window to maybe 2027 real quick. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it slips further. The level of detail they are aiming for in this fictionalized Florida is supposedly unprecedented, with more interior spaces and reactive AI than anything we've seen. But you have to worry about the human cost of that level of perfectionism. If the game is delayed another year, that's another year of high-pressure development for a team that has already been through the ringer. It's the paradox of modern gaming. We want these impossible, lifelike worlds, but the physics of producing them within a reasonable time frame and a healthy work environment just don't seem to align anymore.
Better late than broken, I guess, even if it means another year of waiting. On the hardware side, Valve just refreshed the Steam Deck OLED with a new 1TB option and a 20% battery boost, which is a nice little mid-cycle update. Plus, Xbox Game Pass just hit 50 million subscribers this April. That is a massive milestone for Microsoft. The growth is largely coming from cloud gaming in places where consoles aren't even the primary way to play, like Southeast Asia and parts of South America. It shows that the strategy of removing the hardware barrier is actually starting to pay off in a big way. They are reaching millions of players who will never buy a Series X, but are happy to pay a monthly sub to play on their phones or tablets. It's a completely different battlefield than the one Sony is fighting on, focusing on ecosystem rather than just raw box sales.
This has been Nerfed on Neural Newscast, where games, culture, and strategy intersect.